Welcome everybody to the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card. So today's pick a card, we're going to go fairly deep, and I almost feel like I haven't filmed these yet, so I always do the introduction beforehand. I don't know what's going to come out, but I almost feel like I need to say trigger warning, in as much as we're really going to be looking at whatever person you are thinking of that you're kind of inquiring about, and it doesn't have to be a lover or a would-be lover. It could be a friend, a family member, a colleague, it could be anything. But we're really going to explore here if you could see their view of you in relation to them. What role are you playing in their narrative? So the concept beneath all of this is the concept that we're all the main character in our own story, in our own life. So therefore, other people are either a equal main character when it's sort of someone that's very close to us, probably a lover or something like that. Or it could be a sidekick, or it could be a collaborator, or it could be a competitor, it could be anything. That's what I'm trying to find here for your person, the person that you're thinking about. How do they view you in the narrative of their life? What role do you have? Is this the role you want? If so, can you enhance it? Is it not the role you want? If so, can you change it? So we're going to go fairly deep into the psychology of what's actually going on here. So that's why I say I don't know what we're going to have coming up. The inspiration came from this beautiful new deck that I've got, which is called the Paper Cut Tarot. Now, it's done by the same creator who did the Organic Elements Tarot, which people familiar with this channel will have seen quite a few times, and people who come to me for private readings, particularly those who come around spiritual readings, will have seen that excuse me, deck quite a lot of times. But this is a very different deck. As you can see, it's sort of very sort of stylized art and incredibly beautiful. But the reason that it inspired me, and I wanted to do a reading showcasing it, to talk about main character and other character narrative energy, is that within this deck, the Suit of Cups, which is the emotional connection, is actually reconfigured as the Suit of Books. And to me, I thought, yeah, and if we were really talking about the book of our lives, it really is the emotional plot line, the emotional drumbeat. So I thought, let's do a reading that kind of picks up that energy. So this is the topic that I came to debut the deck. Now, I'm pretty sure that this creator does decks just for Kickstarter. I think it was the case with Organic Elements. But I have put the link to the Kickstarter campaign, even though it's over now, obviously, since I have the deck, because I just backed it. I mean, there wasn't sort of any other way I could get the deck. So it is down there in the description box. So you can keep a running eye on that, because if he does decide to print another run of it or something, then he's likely to put that up there so that people can find it and so forth. So I just thought I'd put it there in case. So I wasn't meaning to tease you with something that's not available, but I definitely wanted to showcase the deck very specifically in the first time that I used it on the channel. So in terms of choosing your pile, and you can of course go to more than one if you have more than one person you're asking about, and that's what I'd base it on, honestly. Like either that, or if we get into the beginning of it and you feel like that doesn't sound like my person at all, then maybe try another pile, because I think that if there's two people or three people, they could be spread across the pile. So that's just my general advice on this one. But to help choose, what I shuffled and asked for here from the deck is an energy that represents the person. So this is what you should be trying to feel into. Does it feel like the person in some way? So for pile number one, we have the King of Blades, which is effectively the King of Swords. So if you're familiar with the King of Swords, if they have a King of Swords type of energy, you might get drawn to that. Maybe the imagery will draw you, the colouring, but that's the card for them. And I will be using that card as something for them at the beginning of the reading. For pile number two, we have the Magician. So again, if you're familiar with the card, then you could be drawn to that, the imagery, whatever, the number one. And then for pile number three, we have Justice. So if the concept of justice, that kind of energy, the way that it's been portrayed here, the number 11, if that draws you, any of those things may draw you to your person. But I think really try and sort of feel into the energy of your person, and what one do you think most draws you on that level. And that will hopefully guide you to the right reading. So I'm not going to talk about it being romance, by the way, but if something romantic comes up, I will mention it, but this is meant to be broader than that. But certainly, you can choose someone who is a current or hoped for romantic partner, or even an ex if you want. That's completely up to you. When you know what reading or readings you want to go to, the timestamps are in the description box below as always, and I'll see you there. Welcome part 1 to your reading. So you came to the reading with the King of Blades or the King of Swords. And I can kind of see why you came to a reading like this, actually, if this is the right reading for you. And as I say, this is meant to give you a bit of a sense about whether you've come to the right reading. Firstly, the King of Blades in general, the King of Swords in general is very much in their mind. Very clever, very fair. There's not a sort of a sense of sort of anything duplicitous in this person. But they have very fixed views, and they're very much, as I say, they're kind of in their mind. And this person's quite introverted, which is part of the energy, and how other people play out has to take into account that they're very much in their mind and they're very introverted. So I think there is almost a bit of an icy feeling around it for you in this person. They're hard to really understand because they don't give away a lot, and that's part of their story. They're kind of the loner here. This is their energy. This is your energy in their life and in their narrative. This is the combined energy, and this is a bit more about what you bring to them. So they're a loner. They're not sort of someone who connects often, and if they do, it's probably a meeting of the minds to start with. And anybody in their life, like I don't know that this person is particularly looking for a life partner or anything like that. They are very much a law unto themselves. I do think they're fair. As I say, I don't think that this person probably is meaning in any sense to suggest more, whether it's romantically or something like that. And if you're working with them or they're a family member, they need their space, they live in their mind, they need their privacy. But what's interesting is your combined energy, they do see you as important. You are important to them. So this is not about you just being like a sidekick or being a competitor. This isn't about competition either. They see a certain magic that you bring to the table. And it's interesting here because these are two elements of it. We have the King of Wands and we have the Page of Wands. So we've got this sort of sense of like inspiration, vision, creative energy with the Magician. And then you're coming across as numb. Do you know what it feels like to me? It feels like in their narrative, you're like their muse. That's what this feels like, whether it is to be an artist, and they could be an artist. They could be a bit of a kind of a loner, iconoclastic sort of artist, very, very structured, I would think, in what they did and so forth. Maybe a writer, maybe a painter. So very visual or very verbal in all of this. And with numb, I feel like what's happening here is that they draw energy from you and they draw inspiration from you. And why I say muse is being a muse is actually quite a tricky thing. Like people think, oh, that's sort of really flattering. And it is in a way. This person sees you as very inspiring. But the problem is they almost see you as, it is like a collaborator, but they are their own person. So they're drawing from your energy. They see you as inspirational. They see you as magical. All of that. So they actually think quite highly of you. Part 1. It's not anything that isn't that, but it's sort of their own detachment means that they see you as, I don't want to say this bluntly as a food source, but I did say this was potentially going to be a little bit, like triggering potentially, but that's what a muse energy is like, and if you look at some of the great muses over history, if you look at their relationships with the artists and so forth, it's often not an easy thing. And this is what this feels like. It feels like you are the person who brings the passion, you are the person who brings the magic, you are the beautiful one in many ways in this, but it's almost like you have to be a still life form. Like they take in and use and configure what they want from it. Now, you might be fine with that because you might be getting something out of it. So, they say different actresses. I think there's an actress, I think it was Uma Thurman was Quentin Tarantino's muse, people like that. Well, she's obviously very famous. So it doesn't necessarily work badly for the person, but there is there is an imbalance in the relationship. And I would say this person's not going to move specifically on that sort of, they do keep themselves apart, see themselves as very different. But you are nevertheless somebody that they really treasure. But it's a weird sort of vampiric, I don't think it's ill meant, but it is that kind of relationship. And it's almost as though what is your passion, what is your liveliness, what is your caring, whatever that is part of your magic, but it is then used to serve the artistic vision in whatever that is. And if you're working for someone like this, they think you're incredibly talented, they find you very inspiring, they think you're magic and you're necessary to the team, but they're not really focused on what you want to do with that. They're focused on what they want to do with that. So it's an interesting energy. So let's get a little bit more. Let's ask from Tarot a bit more about the role that you play in their life. Their main character life, whether the artist or the philosopher or the judge of all, whatever it is that King of Blades is showing, your role, a bit more about that role. The Magician reversed. That's interesting because you've got Magician twice. So that is the Four of Wands reversed. The Ace of Pentacles, the Four of Swords reversed. Yeah, this is the introversion and kind of they don't connect really emotionally, not in the direct way. And then the Eight of Cups effectively reversed, as I said, books, and the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Okay. All right, so as I say, I'm going to be fairly to the point about this because this is the point about the reading. You are like a muse to them. You create, your energy creates something new, and it's something very material. But they are very introverted, and they kind of expect you to be as well. Like there's a lot of mental connection, but there's not a lot of emotional connection here. They don't want to give up emotionally. There is something emotional there, but there's a pattern they have with things, and I think it has to do with them. They have a pattern about how they deal with emotional issues, and it's kind of like to stay in this introverted stage, and they're not shifting out of that. So they're not for the long-term happy family sort of idea. And I feel, and I'm going to be a bit sort of blunt here because this is what this reading is meant to be about. I feel like at the moment for them, this has its time. And it will eventually not be the time anymore. Now, that's fine. If you are in some mutual thing where you're like a muse and that's helping you in some way with what you're doing, you're a model, you're an actress, you're somebody creative, or even if you're working with someone at the moment, they're your boss or they're your colleague, and together you bring something that's really good, but you don't want to be there long term either, that's fine. But I just don't think this person connects a lot emotionally with anybody, to be honest. So it just depends on what it is that you want. If this is a romance, it's going to be tricky. If it's not, then as long as you get something from this, there is mutual respect here. There really is. But it would not be honest to say that this was seen at the moment by this person as a long-term connection. So let's ask if you are happy with that. So I'm just going to put down some cards. If you're happy with that, how do you get the most out of this connection? Then we're going to ask if you're not happy with it, how you could shift it, or if you can shift it. So if you're happy with it, how do you get the most out of this? Page of Wands, Two of Wands, the Moon reversed, the Empress reversed. Okay, if you are happy with this, what it's ultimately going to serve and how you can get the most out of it is this is actually meant to inspire you. What's going on at the moment is there's an imbalanced creative energy. It's like this person could be a muse for you as well. It's like it could flip. So being that fire, being that muse, showing a direction and all that, it is actually bringing out in you your own creativity. It's waking you up again. Like at its best, this is someone who you almost needed the approbation of, the attention of, and this person can be a bit obsessed with you while this is going on. Muse energy can be very obsessive. It's like you needed that to wake up your own creativity. So at its best, you feed each other. It's a reciprocal sort of energy. It may go one at a time or it might go at the same time, but it, you can just go into the kind of creative energy of it to wake up your own creativity. Okay, so if it's not what you want, if you want something different, what would Spirit suggest about this? The Ten of Cups reversed, the King of Wands, the Ten of Wands, and an additional card, voyage. Okay, I think it's saying if this isn't what you want, you need to sort of move on and find something else. It's saying that this is a lot of a burden if this is not what you want. If you're not going to get something else out of it, this is a lot of energy is going to be taken from you. The only thing that could potentially work is to sort of see this is to try and shift yourself into wanting it and saying this is a voyage towards your own creativity. But if that's not possible, it's saying there could be someone else for you in whatever this is, who's more a King of Candles, King of Wands type, more passionate, more like you, not so dispassionate. It's saying that you're not going to shift this to make it more emotionally connected. So just know that about this relationship. It's not that this person, as I say, this person really likes you, really looks up to you, but I just don't think they're the sort of person who, if it's about love, falls in love, or if it's about sort of muse energy, they have a muse for a while and then they move on to another. They'd be quite open to being a muse back, I think. And as I say, they really, really like you. But unless this is serving to open up your own creativity, if you're wanting something else from it, you might be bringing in a certain amount of heartache for yourself. So let's get a little bit more of an idea about the personality balance. So you and the person. So again, like what we're going to look at here is the person. Over here will be the person, and it's sort of like what they are, who they see themselves, what they see themselves at, and then also what they see you as, a little bit more of that sort of energy. So we're going to do it both with the Two-Penny Oracle, which has some personality aspects, and we're also going to do it with the Astrology Oracle with some planetary aspects. So how they see you, a little bit more about that. Philoprogenitiveness. Oh, parenthood. I think that this is... Actually, it adds an interesting additional thing to this, which I'll talk about. But I think this is at its main thing. It's again, you are the parent, you are the source, the magic that brings about what they're trying to create. And how do they view themselves? Like if they see you as the other party that's necessary for something to be brought into being, how do they see themselves in this? Sight, vision, yeah, they're the visionary. Okay, just going to get the astrology and then I'll have a talk about this. So again, and how are they seeing you? Moon, Uranus, okay. They would like the idea that you were creatively stimulated and brought yourself out and would like them. I think they would like you to be like them, to be honest. And Saturn and Pluto. Okay, yeah, all right. So in their narrative, they see themselves as a visionary. Now, the problem with that is they can sometimes be blind or disregard the impact of what they do, and we all have the negative sides of whatever we have. So, but they see themselves as a visionary who are meant to create something that's changing. So they do, one of the reasons that they really admire you is they do see something in you that is like them. They do think you're kind of Uranian, you're about change, you're the electric change, the inspiring change, but they're also all about change as well too. They want to break through old traditions in whatever this is. They want to create something new. They want to use their vision, and you are, they think, in a way, a partner in crime, not in a bad way, but like in the sense of doing this. So you could be the co-parent of something. But maybe what they're not fully seeing is the amount of emotional impact this could be having on you. So because to them, this almost severe sort of Saturnian, King of Swords, loner energy, they're very comfortable in that. They're comfortable in being an iconoclast, in being an artist, a visionary, different. I think they think you could do that too, and I think you could do it too as well too. I just think that you're more emotionally attuned than this person. So you just need to be aware of that, depending upon what the nature of the relationship is. Okay, so we're also going to look at like the deep programming that's around this. Now, this isn't so much about how they view you and how you view them. I just want to see the deep programming that's being triggered in this relationship. So I'm using the fairy tale oracle because I think fairy tales are very good at picking up deep programming that is being triggered in connections. So for you, the tinderbox soldier. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, you might be well placed to deal with this potentially. Just depends on what the nature of or this could be how you're viewing the person too. But it depends on what you're wanting in this relationship. For them, the Nixie of the Mill Pond. Okay. So Well, I'm saying that maybe with this one, it depends upon what you're looking for here. If you're looking for something emotional, this won't apply so much. This will be how you're seeing the person or the risk around the person. But the tinderbox soldier is about ambition. It's about what we do to get what we want and the sense that we're always being watched and judged for our actions. So if this is a kind of transactional relationship and you're going, yeah, I'm happy to be the muse here because that's going to help me as well, that's fine, I think. Because I think in this case, like you might have a sense of, am I being emotionally honest about it and so forth. But on another hand, I think you've got a sense and know that this person has very specific ambitions as well. So if this is about working together on something where you mutually, I don't think this person will do you over. I don't think this person will steal ideas or anything like that. It's just as of its time. It's the alchemy of the two of you together. It's how you inspire them. And if that suits you and you get something out of it, then it doesn't have to be anything more than that. But there's almost like here with the programming, there might be a part of you that thinks it should be more than that, or you feel a bit guilty about it. But I would be saying in this situation, don't, because I think this is kind of the energy that this person has as well. And this one will not, one of the reasons that they kind of detach themselves from things emotionally, and it's kind of transactional, the Nixie of the Mill Pond is about a father who promises his son to a fairy being that sort of does him a favour, and then he wants to keep his son away from the mill pond because then his son could be taken. So there's a sort of a sense here that this person thinks that there are prices to everything and they're not going to put themselves in a position to have to pay a price that they won't want to pay later, particularly about something emotional. And it's very interesting that it's a son and parenthood here. So I do feel as though they will only promise so much. They're going to be quite honest, and I think you will be honest as well too. But the only issue really here is it going to be mutually beneficial? I think that's the message for this. So let's get you some straight talking from the Straight Talking Tarot, which is not a tarot, but it's just a deck that has some really interesting sort of vision and wording. I think we're just going to get 3 straight talking messages about this connection for you from Spirit. State of emergency. Okay, this is not an emergency. This is something that's probably okay. And if you've been really wondering about it and you're thinking, is this going to go wrong or whatever, I don't think it will. It's just, you just need to be realistic about what it is and what your role is in their life. And it's very similar to the role they could have in yours. This says anger. You might get angry. Don't think this is an emergency and go to anger. Anger won't necessarily help. It won't change anything with this, actually. And if you're feeling numb, if you're feeling like you're being fed off, then don't get angry about it. Work out whether or not you stick in this and see it through or not. And I think that's the issue. And trouble's reversed. It's not as big a trouble as you think. This is not going to be as problematic as you think. Even if there's love here, weirdly enough, if there's love, if you're similar, it might actually work. But right at the moment, they're not thinking of it as long term, and I don't think you are either. But that would be the thing to sort of think about. And is that what you want long term if it's about love? All right, so let's just get you some stars to guide you in this connection. Virgo, yeah, it's very much about what's the outcome, what's the output, what's the structure of this. The waning gibbous moon, the calm after the storm. Okay, so if there's been a storm, or if you've been angry, or if you do get angry, it will calm. It will become calm after that. And the 3rd house, yeah, communication. This is why I had the Magician. This is why the Magician reversed. Communication is the key thing here. As long as you keep the lines of communication open and you're honest with each other, it's fine. And I certainly think that if there's anything around this where, it is sort of around work or something like that, it's very good to have very clear guidelines around what each is bringing to it, maybe a good contract or whatever, so that there isn't a sort of feeling at some point like it wasn't fair, or it finishes abruptly for one or the other. Because you might want to walk away as well. It just depends on what you're looking for from this person. Okay, so to finish, speaking of such things, I'm just going to see the heart energy that you have in relation to this person as a result of where you are in their narrative. Hopeful heart, an exciting surprise is coming your way. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for this. I think there is. It's weird. It might sound weird to say it, and particularly with numb there, but I actually think this can be balanced out. I think this can wake you up as well. And they may actually want to wake you up. I mean, the other kind of role that this could be is that they're a coach and you're someone that they're coaching and they're trying to wake you up and inspire you. They think that you have huge potential. But again, that would have its time and its function. And they're not going to offer more than they can deliver. And you're trying to work out how to use your ambition, in which case that's great as well too. It very much depends on what this connection is. The only one I would be wary of a little bit is if it's a love connection. But again, it depends, because some people, and you may be like them, don't want a huge amount of emotion in something. They just want like a kind of respectful, balanced energy where both actually have an outcome, in which case it could work. So I hope that this resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 2, to your reading. So you came to the reading with Magician. So part of the energy of this person to you, I think, is encapsulated with the Magician. The Magician card is about communication. It's about multi-talented energy. It's about spiritual energy, power, and so forth. You may see this person as being very wise, very adept at many things, able to sort of bring about outcomes that they want, all of that kind of thing. It could be someone who is very spiritual, and you know they're very spiritual, or they're a high magician or something like that. It could be any of those things if you were drawn to this card, but it's certainly a strong emphasis on communication and connection in this. And they see themselves similarly. We've got Aquarius. So Aquarius is the kind of very future. In fact, I think there's something about the future. This person definitely sees you in their future. That's definitely the case. They see you as part of a future vision that they have. They think that they are a visionary. They may very well be that. It sort of feels like scientific, technological, AI, any of those kind of things. Potentially, doesn't have to be, but that's the kind of energy. And they see you as almost something from their past here, because you're coming up as memories, that maybe they detached from at some point. You represent something like that. This could be someone coming back into your life. It could be an ex coming back into your life, if that's the case. Otherwise, it could be someone you knew in childhood, or you just may make them think about that and about when they first were becoming independent and becoming who they want to be. The energy between you is traveling. It's journeying together. They want you in their life. I think they see you as a traveling companion, a life companion. It will depend what it is. If this is about love, you are definitely representing something very beautiful and something that they cherish, something that they see that is similar. I think they see you as similar to them in many ways, but maybe that they've gone a little bit further down whatever the path is, and they want you to travel with them. So I think they see you at the absolute least as the kind of, if you're thinking about a narrative structure, the sidekick, the companion on the big journey. But I suspect they think that you are like them. I suspect it's more like a partner rather than, and whether this is a love partner, a friendship, a collaborator, whatever it is, you are definitely part of their future. They want to go somewhere, and they think that they will go there better with you. It's possible too that they think there's a very, very strong karmic background here, because this person may be they're either going to be very spiritual occult, or they're going to be very scientific futuristic, or maybe a bit of both. But I definitely think that they may see you as someone from their past, if not literally, as I say, that they've known you earlier. They've known you before. But you have a similar independent spirit to them, and they like that, and they want to explore. So it's actually a very positive energy by the looks of things, and a very respectful one. So, but whether that's the energy you want or not is another matter, so we will look into that. But we're going to firstly with tarot just ask a little bit more about how they view you in their narrative. Remembering that they're always going to be the main character of their own narrative, just as you're the main character of your narrative. So how they view you. The 10 of Cups. Yeah, it's a nice energy. Books as cups, as I said in the intro. Death reversed. This is an additional card. Imagination reversed. The 9 of Cups. Oh, this is lovely. This is really nice. 9 of Cups. The Sun. The High Priestess reverse. Okay, they're probably more likely to be future focused than spiritual, but may not be. It could also be that they see you as someone that they're going to actually teach and bring along a spiritual path in some way. But it's more like an equal. It's not. This is not patronising or condescending or something like anything like that. But they just may be a little bit further along than you. There's a really lovely emotional energy here. If this is someone you're interested in as a love partner, it's pretty good from their perspective. So if you're feeling that way, like there is a kind of a wish fulfillment, there is like long-term stuff, and it is beyond choice. There is saying, I think they really think something karmic is going on here. So if you feel that, I think that you're right. It's not in their imagination. It's not in your imagination. This has something to do with the life path. It's probably one of the most positive things I've seen around a relationship energy in a long time in readings. And that's not to say that, all things are bad or whatever, but this is just very, very positive. And I sort of thought at the beginning we might be sort of finding a bit of a dissonance. But if you're looking for that, now, of course, a dissonance could be if you're not, if you don't agree, if you think this is somebody interesting that you're around and you'd like to collaborate with or be friends with, this is someone who could fall in love with you, I think. And so that might be something you need to be aware of. But if it's someone that you could fall in love with, wow. Or if it's not love, they'll want to partner in some way with you. They want to travel. They want to explore with you. So if you're open to that, that's great. So let's first of all ask Tarot, if this is, if you like that energy, if you like what I'm saying there, what does Spirit suggest to make it even better? King of Swords, Voyage. Oh, you're going on the journey together. The World. Oh my goodness. And the Five of the, okay. Whatever you do, don't give up. You're meant to travel together. You're meant to see the world together, whether it's literally or whether it's sort of like spiritually or figuratively. Really connect in the mind. They are very much in their mind with Aquarius. They are very future oriented. Think to what this could really be, what it could become, how it becomes at its most. That's the voyage. That's the trip that you're meant to go on. And don't give up. It's meant to be completed. So I think Spirit's pretty much gunning for, this should be. This relationship should be, and it's good. But, you have choice. So therefore, if you aren't happy with what this is showing, what do you need to do to make it more what you would want it to be? King of Pentacles reversed. Queen of Cups reversed. Page of Wands. And the Nine of Pentacles reversed. Okay, I think that if you are not wanting this, I think what's going on here is this is someone who sees you as some form of life partner, whether it be romantically or otherwise. So if you don't see them that way, which may be the case with the King, if you come here and you go, no, then the King of Sigils reverse, the King of Pentacles reverse. It's kind of like this is not a long-term thing for you. It's a connection that's necessary for the moment with the Nine of Sigils or Nine of Pentacles reverse. So you don't just walk away. So, this don't give up. This don't just walk away. But I think it might be clarify what you feel emotionally and that this is like more an inspirational connection rather than a love connection. So I really think the only space where this may be an energy that's not quite right is if you sense they're in love with you and you're not in love back. I think that's what it's saying. And that could be the case for some of you if you've been thinking about someone. Now, if it's a family member and that couldn't even happen, then it might be more where that they may see you as sort of someone who's a partner in the family and in taking the family forward and dealing with family issues. And you might go, well, actually, I have other things I need to do. I'm happy to connect, but I need to be clear about what my boundaries are. Okay, so let's have a look at some personality aspects. So again, we're going to have a look at how they see you and how they see themselves. So firstly, how they see you. Order, okay. And how they see themselves. Cautiousness. Okay. So there could be something in this. Actually, I'm going to put down some astrology first, but I just want to say there could be something in this because it matters to them. They're very careful and they're very polite and they like to think of themselves that way. I do think they might think that you are more of the old world and they're wanting to draw you into the new world. There could be something like that. Like they may think you conform more than they want to, but they're going to be a bit cautious about what they do. Let's see what the astrology says. Mars and Saturn. Okay, yeah, they think you're cautious about what you do. Venus and Pluto. Okay, all right. Venus and Mars again. I do think for many of you this is probably a love match. As I say, if it isn't, that's fine. I think it's interesting with the maiden. I think what this is, as I say, I think they may be either a little bit older or they're a little bit more unconventional than you. They're a little bit more future focused, whatever it is. They see themselves as being very careful and, like showing solicitude, showing politeness, all of that kind of thing. Which, at its worst can be a bit cowardly and can be heedless of what you want, but they're trying to do something to actually draw you into the future because they think you're a little bit caught in the structures that already exist. So they don't want you to be rigid. They understand the conformity, but they want to break through that. And they think that you can. They think underneath you're a bit of a rebel as well. So unless this is someone who wants you to, go from being a one sort of political sort of viewpoint to being an anarchist or something, in which case you've got to decide if that's something you want to do. But this maiden energy, I think they're seeing you as you're kind of forming yourself in whatever this is, whether it's love or philosophy or politics or whatever it might be. So I think they see you as someone that there is a great deal of energy to break through, and they think they are the loving, transformative energy that can help with that. And I don't feel like this is patronising, but I do feel like that's kind of how they have the narrative in their head about it. So let's look at some of the in-depth programming. I use the fairy tale oracle for this. This isn't going to be so much how you see each other. I think it's just how you're responding to each other on an in-depth programming level. I use fairy tale oracle because I think fairy tales show really early programming we get that can be triggered in relationships. So it's what you're triggering in each other. So for you, Cinderella. Oh, the maiden, Cinderella. Isn't that interesting? And magic. This person is magic in some way. The connection is magic. And for them, the 12 dancing. Oh, okay. Yeah. Actually, all this is making a lot of sense. So, Cinderella, of course, was waiting for the magic to happen, to be taken to the ball, to be swept up. So there is a kind of a waiting for the magic to come in that transforms and takes you into the new world. So your psychology around this is aligning very much with this energy. So that's very positive. 12 Dancing Princesses is very interesting because this is about princesses who had all this responsibility and they were supposed to get married and they were supposed to do all these things that princesses do in fairy stories. But they used to go out at night and dance all the time, and it was sort of hard to get them to focus on what they were supposed to do. So I think there's a sort of energy here of this person they want to break you free from any kind of conformity, any kind of responsibility. So it's a choice of pleasure. And it's a choice of like the dance, so to speak. There is a real liberation energy that they want to bring to this. And I think you're waiting for somebody who can liberate you as well. So, and it's not that you have to have someone doing that. This is, as I say, there's nothing, I don't feel anything kind of patronizing in this. I think it's at a moment in time in whatever this is, this person has just gone a little bit further on being true to who they are, being self-actualized, whatever it is. They see enormous potential in you. They really care about you. And they want you to have that freedom. That's what this is sort of showing. I actually think it's a really lovely energy. So let's get some straight talking advice. I'm going to use the straight talking tarot, which is not actually a tarot per se. It's a deck that has sort of like wording and images or whatever. So this is just spirit, just kind of cutting to the chase on the energy around this at the moment for you. So mind, body and soul. Okay. So there's a lot of, this is the magic. There is a real, in whatever this is, this relationship has a lot of potential to align all of that. Fake news, okay. So you may be wondering, is this really what it is? You may be wondering if their vision is really the right one. You may be wondering what their motives are. Or others might be trying to tell you this isn't, ones who want you to conform might be telling you this person, can't be trusted, can't be listened to. Because, all the non-conformists of this world, probably when they first expressed what they saw, were kind of called, fake news or whatever. It's a bit like they say, give conspiracy theory, 6 weeks and it becomes conspiracy fact. So I think there's a sort of interesting energy there about, there's nothing else in this that tells me that there's anything fake about it, but you might be wondering if it is what it appears, or you might be having other people who are trying to get you not to follow this and say it's, a fool's errand. And bad idea reverse, it's not a bad idea. I think people are telling you this is not a good connection, but it's actually better than that. I think this is what it's saying. Okay, so let's also get you some stars to guide you. Fourth house. Like all this sort of stuff around the 9 of Cups, the 10 of Cups, this gets to your core. This could be about where you want to live. This could be someone that you could live with. This is someone who could be family. There could be family influences on this as well too. The first quarter moon, picking up speed, make decisions, align actions with words. So the things are getting to a point where you've got to kind of work out, what are you going to do in relation to this person? And Aries, take action, bold action. Go after what you want. Whatever it is, and it may or may not be, the connection this person wants, because you're the main character of your story just as they are of theirs. Okay, just to finish off, I'm just going to see the heart energy that's operating around this at the moment for you. Giving heart. Develop self-love. Yeah, I think they want you to develop self-love, but you may have to do that. You may have to kind of develop that to be able to sort of follow this and decide if it's the right thing for you. So in the end, if this is someone who genuinely loves you, cares about you and admires you, and I think that's the case in whatever form this relationship is, they really do see a lot of themselves in you. They think that you could be part of a future vision in whatever it is, and it's all very genuine. But it's important that this is true to you, that it's part of your ambition, and that you have the self-love so you can discern it. I think that's the one thing, because Cinderella, of course, was a little bit passive. She waited for somebody to come along. So I think there is a little bit from Spirit here about you need to decide if this is it. And if that's the case, this has a real potential for a true partnership in whatever it is. So you are an equal in this person's eyes in terms of importance to the narrative of the story. But I think you have to choose whether it's the narrative you want to be in. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 3, to your reading. So you came to the reading with Justice, which is an intriguing card in a way to be representing someone. At the very least, I think you would think this person is either involved in matters of justice. So it could be sort of someone who's going to enter into a contract with you. It could be someone who's officiating over something for you. Could be someone that you want to enter into a kind of contractual arrangement with on an emotional level, like marry. Could be anything, or it could be someone you just think is very just, or who issues of justice, social justice, divine justice, all that kind of thing applies to. They may feel a little bit chilly. They may feel a little bit removed. They may feel a little bit on a pedestal or above you in some way. Doesn't necessarily mean that they see you as lower, but it could well be that you see them a bit above you in some way, in a position to judge in some way and bring things into balance. What is interesting here, this is how you're viewed by them. This is them and how they view themselves. This is the combined energy. This is some other stuff around you. This person sees themselves as very wise, very spiritual, very righteous, and they may very well be. Now, I'm not saying that they're not. They probably are older than you, or consider themselves to have an older soul or something. They see you as youthful and flexible and talented and creative and beautiful. They see a lot of beautiful things in you, but they see themselves as somehow the wise decider on it. So it'd be almost like in a narrative, this was some sort of oracle you came to who told you what your special mission is. I mean, in fact, that's almost what it feels like, in kind of the chosen one type narrative structure, where somebody who sort of is wiser and can see your role, they are seeing it. They see where you are in the cosmic dance. They see you as someone who has come in divine time. They see you as someone here also with the King of Cups, where you have a very good sense of yourself and emotion. You're the person for the time. So They see you as a central character in the story. I'm not sure entirely, though, if it's their story per se or whether they see themselves as a protective energy of you for you to find your own story. That's kind of what it feels like. Now, if this is someone that you love and you want to marry, then yes, they could be saying this is someone that they would start a family with, that they think is beautiful, has come at the right time and is emotionally there. So it certainly would be very positive on that level if you were looking to sort of marry someone, start a family with them, or any of those sort of things. But I think for most of you that have come here, this is someone who's recognised you. That's what I think. They've recognised your story, and they see their role within it. This is an aspect of their story. The aspect of their story is that they sometimes are the person who sees and guides others. It is like the sort of the crone or the mother maiden and crone. You know, this is more like the maiden in a way. It's like Merlin, you know, it's like Gandalf. And it doesn't matter what gender the person is. There's something like that. And they feel a very protective energy over this, but they think you're ready. You're ready for something. So very interesting. So let's get a little bit more detail using tarot about how you figure in their narrative arc. King of Wands, Queen of Swords reversed, Nine of Cups reversed, Ace of Pentacles reversed, 10 of Swords, and an additional card, Wander. Yeah, this is the hero's quest, I've got to say. I mean, one thing I would say is that if this is someone who might be choosing you for a job, they're going to choose you. That is another option. But wow, for a start, this is something they don't think you've begun to be all you could be yet. They don't even think you entirely know what your dream is. I think they want to influence your dream because at the moment they feel like you're not following your life path. There's a lot of drama around whatever this is, and you are meant to go in search of something. This is the hero's quest. They see you as the hero, heroine, whatever, in this particular story. So they are, yeah, it is very Gandalf-like or Merlin-like or whatever. They think that you have to be brought into awareness of what your destiny is, and so you need an inspiring guide. So that's what it is. They've chosen you in some way. They see you as chosen in some way. If it is love, then they don't feel yet that you have awakened your passion and your understanding of it. So they're kind of waiting for you to sort of see the potential here. But otherwise, they see something in you, which means I'm sure there is something in you, because this is a wise person. So let's see if this is what you would want. You know, if having your own personal Merlin or Gandalf is what you want right now, how can you make the most of it? The Seven of Pentacles reversed. The Six of Pentacles. Oh, okay, that's interesting. The Queen of Wands. The Sun. Okay, all right. If this resonates for you, that it is like, as I say, Merlin or Gandalf type of energy with you as Frodo or Arthur, I guess, to pull it all the way through. This is only of a time. This is not a relationship that you have to spend a lot of time in, or that you should always be following them. There is a period of time where they are above you and they help you, and then you come into your own self-actualized life path. So again, like Frodo in the end, Gandalf helped a lot, but Frodo in the end had to be the one who carried the ring. In the Arthurian tales, Merlin helps Arthur, but Arthur has to be the king. So there's that kind of energy. Now, if this is a love relationship, then whatever this imbalance is will be only of its time, and when you self-actualize together, it can really work. So either way, there is a shifting of this energy for you to be at the same level, but in your own path, and that's the best way to make the most of this connection in whatever way it's operating. What if it's not what you want? What if you don't want Merlin or Gandalf? What if you think you can work it out yourself? Or what if it's in a love relationship, you want to feel that you're choosing as much as being chosen? What could you do to shift that energy? 10 of Wands reversed. The High Priestess reversed. Two of Swords reversed. The Hierophant. Okay. I think that if you want to shift it, you can just shift it by sort of like showing that you are making decisions on your own. You're not following some mystery or whatever. You make your decisions yourself. You don't need the burden in that you care about the person, you want the person in their life, but they don't have to protect you, that you're capable of working it out yourself, and that, you're studying and moving towards your own truth rather than whatever their truth is. So if you sort of feel like, no, I want to be my own Merlin, as I say, then you can show that you can make the decisions, you can go and look and research and find where to get the answers, and that you will do it broadly. You're not just going to go to them for the answers. You're going to look broadly for the answers, and therefore, but you can present it in a very nice way that you don't want them to feel burdened. I'm just going to move this a little bit because it get a bit more on centre there. So that's, I think, how you can play this particular energy out. So let's get a little bit more detail about it. We're going to have a look at personality. So we're going to see how they view you and then how they view themselves personality-wise. So how they view you. Conscientiousness. Okay, that's good in this sort of, with someone whose energy is justice. How do they view themselves in this interaction? Benevolence, yeah. They definitely think they're here to help. Yeah, I'm here to help. They suddenly had that joke line, I'm from government and we're here to help. I'm not saying they're in the government, but and I worked in the government quite a lot, so I'm not putting the government down, but I just suddenly heard that in my head. Okay, and let's just get some astrology as well on a similar thing. So how they view you personality-wise. Moon and Mars, yeah, they definitely see you as the heroes. Yeah, the actor on something that matters to the heart, and one that needs to be protected with Cancer and with the moon here, the actor who is meant to be protected, and how they view themselves. Uranus and Neptune, yeah, the inspirer, the magic energy, and so forth. The change agent that brings you towards your dream. They really do think that they're helping, and like in many cases they probably are. Okay, this person is smart. This person does know a lot. And if they've recognised you, there's a reason, and you can take that. But you don't have to then mean that everything that you do has to be agreed to by them. I think that's a very important thing in a relationship like this. If someone recognises you and chooses you and praises you and supports you, then retain the power that you will always still decide what you want to do, because you don't want to become kind of dependent on their approbation. But they definitely see you as very ethical, very conscientious, the right person for this, for the emotionally resonant and important action. They really do value you. And they are trying to be helpful through inspiring you and connecting you to your dream. That's what this whole thing is about. And if that doesn't register with somebody, this isn't the right reading for you, because it's very, very specific. But it is good. It is a good connection. I just think if this is a love relationship, you've got to work out how to balance it a bit, because it does feel much more like, as I say, a Gandalf Frodo or a Merlin Arthur type of relationship overall. All right, so let's have a look underneath all that. What's the sort of kind of psychological programming? I use the fairy tale oracle for that, because I think fairy tales can show sort of very deep programming from our childhood about relationships and life that could be triggered by a relationship. So this isn't so much how they're viewing you in their narrative. This is just your trigger programming with them and their trigger programming with you. So for you, Rapunzel, liberation, wow, okay. And for them, Sleeping Beauty, okay. I think they think they're the prince, okay. They want to wake somebody up to their beauty. That's a big part of how they see themselves. And, it could be that they are actually doing a job that's like that, a coach or a mentor, and that's exactly what this relationship is, in which case it's coming from a very good place, and they really do think highly of you. They think you're beautiful. They think what you're doing is important, beautiful, should be protected. Like all over, it's like awakening. You're waiting to be freed, and it's a slightly different thing. But I think that it's one that you can adjust. I think what this is showing is exactly what I was talking about, is that if their recognition frees you to go on your hero's quest, and I think by and large that's what they want to do. I don't think they necessarily want to kind of then rule your life or anything. But if that occurs, that operates very, very well, and they're just a support when you need it. But I think it is important, if somebody else's approbation or recognition of you has freed you to do something, you need to then own that freedom, so that you are then moving forward from your own choices and so forth. So as I say, so you just don't get codependent in some way. That would be about the only risk around this type of connection. So let's get you some straight talking advice from the straight talking deck. So this is a deck that has challenges and blessings. It just kind of goes straight to the core of something. So just anything else that you need to see in relation to this. So we've got positive vibes reversed. There might be something going on at the moment where you're not sure about what's happening. Or it could be it's like you're not sure how to keep the positive vibes if you then do the liberation. So this is a bit of a delicate balance, because they come from a good place, but you could feel like they're judging you in some way. It would be even more the case if there's been judgment. But judgment and justice both have a little bit of that kind of energy. Then we have be happy. Be happy about it. This is, it's a good overall good energy. You may be doubting this connection. And shame reverse. There's no shame in this. There's no shame if somebody comes along and actually sees something in you and provides something to you didn't see yet. It's not that you're lesser. It's that they're actually seeing that you're going to be so much more. So don't feel like, if there's a bit of an imbalance at first in this, that there's any shame in it. Be happy. This is a good connection, I think. Okay, let's get you some stars to guide you. Gemini, communication, things of the mind, partnerships, all of that sort of stuff is definitely, so it's more like a partnership. Fixed. Okay, so don't be stubborn. But once you are on a course, stick to it. Again, the hero's quest requires that. And water. You'll have the flexibility emotionally that you need. So that, and there is a real emotional underpinning to this. There's a real caring underneath all of this. There's a protective energy. Okay, so to complete that then, let's just have a look at your heart energy in relation to this connection at this point in time, and how this person views you in their narrative. Oh, wow. Beautiful heart. Open your wings and fly. Yeah. I think they think that you're beautiful, brilliant, talented, the one who's come at the right time, all of those things in whatever this means. So I do think it is a good connection, but I do think, as I say, there's a little bit of a warning in there about taking the approbation, the support and so forth, but helping it to self-actualize you. As long as you do that, whatever you end up doing, even if you ended up falling in love and getting married to this person, you can have a more equal relationship. So I hope that resonates. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.